Today, we're going to talk about one of the most mystically rare, interesting, and beautiful Gibson guitars that come out in the last few years. The 2019 125th Anniversary Supreme. I gotta tell you, this guitar is beautiful and shrouded in mystery and has brought so many people together. It's kind of crazy, this guitar. I remember in 2019 joining a group on the internet because I'm a nerd and like to talk to other people on the internet that say, you know, you should take off the pick guard. What's the difference of putting the poker chip on the Gibson? Why would you do that? I'm gonna put a gold one on. Why would you buy a gold one? I need other people like me telling me how to feel about the things that I already love. That's why I joined the Gibson Supreme Owners Group on Facebook, because we all agree that the most consistently beautiful and the best woods used consistently on a model in all of Gibson is the Gibson Supreme. I have two of them myself. I joined and I was like, and we're sending pictures. It was great. Really, to be the creme de la creme in this group, people were getting this 125th Anniversary Supreme. I saw there's 125 of them. I'm like, that's not that many, but like, whatever. $5,000. Didn't buy it. I'm in this group and all of a sudden some of these people are talking about it and they're like, I don't think there's more than like 20 something of these. Now I'm interested. Like, what do you mean? It says there's 125 on them. Well, my friend Kevin, down in Australia, one of the greatest collectors on the freaking planet, said, Benny, there's like 28 of these, 25, 26, something like that. And he shows me all the different numbers that he's tracked all around the world. Are you serious? 31s in Texas and number 28s in Austria, 25. Like, these aren't real places. They are real places. I don't know where they are, but he has a list of where they all are and he tracked them. There's definitely not 125. So we're all curious. I'm curious. Now, understand, this is a very interesting guitar. This is a guitar way out of the norm for Gibson. In fact, if you look at the fretboard immediately, it's an interesting and new guitar. It has something called the Shadow Diamond. It's a mother of pearl inlay with a little bit of abalone shadow on a beautiful ebony fretboard. Gibson's never done it. And then they have a 125th anniversary on the 12th fret and a crest for the Supreme, 1894 to 2019, 125th anniversary for Gibson. And like all Supremes that came before it, the top and the back are just wild on this guitar. It's just supremely beautiful. But these ones, they might be the Supreme of the Supremes. In fact, some of the other people in the group, and okay, me too, I cold called Gibson and I asked about this guitar and they did, we don't have any more. We don't know anything about it. We have no idea how many. They didn't want to say anything about it because nobody, I don't know if they didn't know or that, no clue. So we're completely befuddled. And then all of a sudden, number 31 shows up in our group. And with 31 came a message with love from Gibson, because it came from a Gibson employee who worked for 40 years. And on his exit of the company, they thanked him by giving him number 31 of the 125th Anniversary Supreme. What gives, man? Can you share some information? Can you tell us about this? How many of these are there? And he said immediately, there's 31. It's not 125. Which begged the question, why? So we're about to do a deep dive into some Gibson history and show you some pictures of some guitars that literally I've never heard of, I don't think has ever been brought to the attention of the public. So a Neurotic Guitarist exclusive, and I thank my friend that used to work at Gibson. I applaud all of your service. I appreciate you. Starts in 2008. Gibson gets a bunch of ebony blanks. Apparently, they weren't set up to radius these things properly, so they outsourced them, which wasn't uncommon in that time period. So they sent a bunch of them to another company to be radiused, and then in 2019, got raided by the US government. They took all the ebony away. And from what I've been told, looking back on it, Gibson believes it's political reasons. I don't know. That's what I was told. Come 2013, 4 years later, the government returns all the ebony. By the way, in the meantime, when they had already confiscated all the ebony, the third-party retailer said, please, Gibson, don't tell them we have the drugs, okay? We'll hold on to your cocaine. Just don't tell them where we live. So they had this third party, all these Gibson blanks, these ebony blanks, for 4 years. 2014 is supposed to be the 120th anniversary Gibsons, as you've seen, and 60th anniversary for a lot of them. These are what is known as Double Diamond Anniversaries. 60, 120, Double Diamond. So what did Gibson want to do? They wanted to do the Double Diamond series. What basically ended up being stamped the 2014 120th anniversary. All those guitars. Originally, there was going to be a series called the Double Diamond series, which consisted of 6 guitars. A Les Paul, an Explorer, a 61 SG, a Flying V, a Modern, and a Firebird. And if you notice, they have the same ebony fretboard with the shadowed diamond inlays, but with the 120th anniversary. Look at this Modern. It has what looks like P100 gold pickups with some sort of crazy design on the actual pickup covers. All black with an ebony fretboard with these diamond inlays, the 120th anniversary, and pinstriping. All gold heart. Freaking cool. So one would believe that this Firebird, the Explorer, the Les Paul, they were all going to be pinstriped, ebony fretboards with the diamond, 120th anniversary, double diamond on the headstocks, a Double Diamond series, which as you can see, I've never seen this headstock, but it's a Gibson headstock with bedazzled Gibson. When the ebony got returned, Gibson called this third party and said, we're going to do this Double Diamond series. We want you guys to make these diamond inlays and do the 120th anniversary. So then these prototypes, as you've seen in these pictures, were made. Henry said, nah, you know what? I don't really dig this. We're not going to do these. Unfortunately, the vendor had already started making these fretboards because they were under a deadline. So now Gibson has all these fretboards with these diamond inlays and it says 120th anniversary. Fast forward to 2018. Henry says, you know what? And if you don't know Henry, he was the predecessor to Cesar, who I really like at Gibson. He seems really cool. Plays Megadeth and Metallica, and like he hangs out with they got all my friends, and by friends I mean people that are on my walls, and he just seems like a cool guy. Henry seems like he I don't know what was going on with that dude. But Henry decides in 2018, we're gonna do the 125th anniversary. We're gonna repurpose these ebony fretboards. We're gonna put a 125th anniversary inlay instead of the 120th anniversary that was already inlaid on these fretboards. So what did they do? Take the fretboards and then took the inlay out and then put a new inlay in? I don't know exactly. Come May 2018, Gibson files for bankruptcy. And according to this Gibson employee, Gibson actually did not have enough super high quality maple to make this guitar. Their creditors aren't sending them wood. They're like, these guys are filing Chapter 11. We don't want to get over our heads sending you a bunch of nice stuff. So they only made 31, which leads me to believe that there are probably more fretboards lying around at Gibson, but they made 31 of these things. And that's simply because Gibson only had the wood for these. And if you look at these Supremes, these are the best. These are literally, if you bought a made to measure, if you bought class 5, I think they call them, like all the super highest end, like this is the wood you'd want on every one of these, every example I've seen, and they're very different. But the thing that's crazy is to think that this employee has pictures of inside the Gibson vault, which he lets me know that there's a lot more in there. There's a prototype, but there's a whole series of prototypes called the Double Diamond. And I want this Modern with the pinstriping. It looks like Billy Gibbons came over and said, I'm gonna make this guitar for you. Like, it's cool. You have to wonder what goes through Gibson's head. I wish I could go back and buy the 125th Anniversary Supreme. I wish I could be on that list that Kevin has of all those different owners, but I can't. So if you have a 125th Anniversary Gibson Supreme with the ebony fretboard, with the diamond inlays, with the shadows at abalone, with the 125th Anniversary crest from 1894 to 2019, trying to do the math in my head, you are supremely lucky and you've won. And to Gibson, what else is in that vault?
Why don't you smash that subscribe button already?